Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about something might be a little bit different than what I'm ordinarily accustomed to talking about. And I'm going to talk about the women in Nashville, Tennessee. And I want to clear up any misperception or misconception some people may have over the women in Nashville. Now, I'm not going to stereotype and say all the women are like this or like that, but I want to let people know that the thing about all the people and the women are all about Southern hospitality. They're all kind and benevolent. That could be put to rest. I mean, I've been in Nashville, Tennessee since 1994. And very interestingly, I mean, I have had very few relationships during this time that I've been in this city. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect or infallible. I understand a lot of it's attributed to my lifestyle. I'm a very introverted person, as many of you may know from what I've discussed about myself in other videos on between this channel and other channel and my astrology channel, perhaps. But the thing about it is, what I notice is seems like a number of the women that I have gotten in contact with here, it was seemed like a lot of it was about money, and if they needed something, I try to be there, trying to be Mr. Benevolent and compassionate, and trying to be, the selfless do-gooder. And unfortunately, sometimes being a nice person, that's all it equates to. It doesn't really provide always anything much in return. The thing about it is, and once I would put a halt to the money, then they would basically inexplicably fall out of contact with me, or not really communicate with me that much, or the communication would become more sporadic. And it's just a shame that people have to be like that. But the thing about it is, I think a lot of the friendliness of the women in Nashville, unfortunately, it's a little bit of a pretense or a front to try to get what they want from you. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying all the Nashville women are like that. I think a lot of the problems I've had in attaining is having a woman from in Nashville become interested in me maybe somewhat connected or attributed to maybe the fact that I'm not from here, and maybe they're cognizant of that or recognize it, and they just feel, well, he's not from around here, I'm not really interested, and some, their perception may be, he's a northerner or whatever, we don't want to be bothered. I do believe that if you are from this area, or at least from Tennessee, you do have a better opportunity. And I'm basically stating this video, making it in a way so at least I could help other guys. If there's other guys that are coming from out of state here, and they think, well, the women here are going to be very amiable and all of them are going to be very friendly and reach out to them, it's completely not true. That you have to really understand what this is about, and a lot of the people are not from Nashville, Tennessee, so a lot of that are here, so a lot of it I understand it's connected with that. And the reality is that, okay, I think no matter where you go, there's always going to be nice people, and there's always going to be not so nice people. It doesn't matter where you are or where you're located. And the thing about it is, considering it was interesting, I was on Match.com for like over 5 years, and couldn't get hardly anybody to even become interested in me. Unfortunately, when you're at a lower level income level such as me, that is going to factor into the equation, and it doesn't matter where you are. I think that the women are still going to frown on that. If you're not making X amount of dollars per year, your chances are not completely gone, but they are diminished considerably. And you have to really think about that as well. And the reality does bite, does it not? And I have to consider my age as well. It might have something to do with it now, but there were many times when I thought when I was younger that a woman could have given me a little more of an opportunity here, but for whatever reason, just they chose not to. I do think a lot of the women also in Nashville, Tennessee, marry very early, so a lot of them have a significant other at a relatively young age, so sometimes those people just aren't available. I thought was interesting was that I called some place up one time. It was about 5 years ago maybe, and they maybe 4 years ago, and it was some place where you could pay the organization some money. It was some kind of dating organization where they would find some woman that would be compatible for me, but I think they wanted at least like $1,500 or $2,000 or something. And you really, I don't remember the amount of dates you could potentially get, but you would not really have that many for that money that you would have to spend. And my understanding is that you would, once you meet the woman, you would have to still at least spend the money on yourself to go to that place where you would dine with her. So you're not only paying that organization for all that money, but what would happen is you'd still have to at least flip the bill for yourself, of course, in addition to that, when you would meet up with that potential woman that you might have that match with. So those are some things to look at as far as the Nashville women go, is that the thing about it is you can have like they could be very friendly here. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the women here are very tactful, diplomatic, and polite. But after that, as far as attaining something substantial, as far as a relationship, you're still going to have to really earn that, no matter whether it's here or somewhere else. It's funny in life how sometimes a lot of it, I think, is connected with just being in the right place at the right time. And you could have a situation where a guy just kind of gives a certain wink at a woman, and the woman just takes it and accepts it and says, well, oh wow, I really like what he did. That really took me by that was really unexpected, and really I love the unpredictability of what happened, or what have you. And that was something that nobody ever did to me before, and they take a liking to it, and then before you know it, they meet up, and and all of a sudden their relationship escalates and evolves. And sometimes it's just doing that right thing or saying that right thing at that right particular moment. And unfortunately, I'm not the kind of person that does that. I'm just a very straightforward, very I guess you could say ingenuous, but very honest, sincere. I'm really not so much about doing like subtle things or anything like that to really attract a woman. I'm just basically, it's kind of like what you see is what you get with me. And if I like some woman, I basically will just come out and just say it. And that's just my manner. And maybe that's just not always the right way in some woman's perception, and that could be the problem as well. But what I would like to say is that the bottom line is, life, unfortunately, it's about a lot of times what's in your pocket. It's not what's in your heart. And I think Nashville, for the women here, a lot of them are. It's no exception to that. And what's sad is that we are judged, unfortunately, by many in life superficially. There's a lot of greedy, avaricious people around, and unfortunately, it is like that. That there's a lot of also people that are manipulators and con artists around, and it's just terrible how that is, unfortunately. But it is what it is, and that's pretty much how it goes. And the thing about it is, I just, like I said, I made this video basically to let people know that if any guys that plan on coming here and they think it's gonna be super easy just to hook up with some woman here and maybe have a significant relationship, have that woman become a significant other, or have some kind of substantial relationship with her, it's not going to be as easy as you think it is. Because I know what I'm about as a person. I'm about honesty, integrity. I'm a very scrupulous person, and there's a lot of things I don't do, like drinking. I don't do drugs. I don't even drink. I don't smoke. And it could be something where maybe there's no commonality with a lot of the women here. And see, a lot of the women, maybe they like to go out and go to nightclubs, and they like to drink or something. And I think what that is, that's not conducive to my lifestyle. So that's another thing. Perhaps that's been to my detriment as far as having a woman from Nashville become interested in me. And It's funny in life, and I'm not just saying it's just the women in Nashville, but what I'll notice is that some guy will put on some kind of charm and say something, and that woman will almost a lot of times a woman will be immediately be drawn to that. And the person, someone like me, like I said about being scrupulous, upright, being honest, somebody that has so much to give in his heart is just passed by like there's no tomorrow. And I look back and I say to myself, well, Eddie, you know what? You know what you're about in your heart. That's the main thing. However, it doesn't change the overall situation. Being a good person does not always mean it's going to equate to having positive things in your life, unfortunately. And I think maybe I could say that I'm a prime example of that and let other people know that just because you might really have a lot of good qualities and attributes that a woman could really use, if you don't have the funds and you have a limited living situation and you don't have really that strong financial stability, you are going to have an uphill battle, and I don't care what city it is, even in our wonderful, hospitable, benevolent city of Nashville, Tennessee. This is Edwin Learnard, and until next time, people, stay well.